If you're looking for MUT coins to upgrade your MUT game, go to GameRusher.com for cheap and safe MUT coins. You can use my discount code HUB at the website. Use the first link in the description down below and get that upgrade to your game. The football team just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 23-17 in Heinz Field at Pittsburgh. First thing I'm going to say is give Washington their props, man, because this wasn't easy to do. And I got to say, I've been clowning Pittsburgh all year, you know what I'm saying, on Twitter, on Instagram, in my streams, not really in the videos because, it's Giants-centric, with G-Men Nation over here. But myself, along with a lot of NFL fans, I want to say basically every NFL fan that's not a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers have been saying all year that this is the weakest 11-0 team we've seen. They're frauds. They're just a weak team. They don't deserve the record that they have. With that being said, while I agree with everything like that, and everybody thought they were going to fall at some point to somebody, it's kind of funny that they fall to Washington because now it puts me in the situation. It puts us as Giants fans in a situation where we're like, damn, we could have really had a stranglehold on the NFC East of Washington. If Pittsburgh took care of business over there, they did not. And once again, give credit to Washington. Pittsburgh was up 14-0. When they're up 14-0, they throw up a crazy stat during the games. Pittsburgh has 109 wins to just 2 losses and 1 tie. Chalk it up now to 3 losses. And Washington became the weakest team by record to ever beat an undefeated team in NFL history. That's 11-0 or better in terms of the undefeated that they were judging. So give props to them. And I do want to say, while I've been saying that Pittsburgh is not a strong 11-0 team, that's not me saying they're a bad team. Let's not get it twisted. Pittsburgh is still a really good team. They're still a perennial playoff team. They're still at the very least, I think, their true record is like at the very, very least an 8 or 9 win team right now. So they're still extremely good. In fact, it's funny that this happens right after the Giants beat the Seahawks, which was another upset that nobody expected. Because they're both similar in terms of they were really good teams, but they had a lot of flaws that could be exposed. The Giants exposed those flaws. We smacked up the Seahawks. The Washington football team exposed it in the second half, and coaching is what got them the win, and coaching is what defined these two teams right now. You talk about the trenches, especially on the defensive side for both of the football teams right here. It's the coaching that's propelling it, and we all know with the culture change with both in Washington and Giants that is what is getting these teams out here and propelling them to the front running of the NFC East. And as fans of both teams, I know Washington fans could speak to this, and definitely Giants fans could speak to this. We knew these were going to be the two teams fighting for the top spots eventually in the NFC East. We didn't think it would be so soon. I don't think anybody's complaining that it came a little early. But you could see the changes, in terms of getting younger, in terms of building great foundations, especially once again in the trenches, which is historically where these teams thrive. And then with the coaching changes, along with the culture changes, it's just everything's coming together at the right time. And now we're over here fighting for top spot in the NFC East. And you guys probably wondering why am I doing a video format? It's because I'm going to share my screen just now. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pull up both of these schedules, remaining schedules of both of the Giants and Washington, and kind of give my opinion as of right now, December 8th, who I think could finish with the lead. Now, of course, I'm obviously a Giants fan, so if you're a Washington fan watching this, I'm going to try and be as objective as possible. It's going to be inevitable that maybe some of my home team bias slips through, but this is going to be me trying to be objective as possible. That being said, let me actually pull up the schedule and let's see how does Washington win. Both teams are 5-7 right now. Giants still sit at the top because we swept Washington, so we have the tiebreaker on them. How does it affect the rest of the schedule? Who's going to go home with the NFC East, playoff berth right here and host that game? Let me share the screens right now. I'm going to go over the Giants' remaining schedule first. Both teams, they both have 4 games left. And after these wins, against the Seahawks and against Pittsburgh, honestly, all games remaining here are winnable for both of these clubs, man. All games are completely winnable for both of these clubs right here. So first things first, the Giants, they got up next the Arizona Cardinals, and then the Cleveland Browns. Oh, let me scroll down a little bit. Let me just scroll. My bad, guys. Then the Cleveland Browns, then the Baltimore Ravens, then the Dallas Cowboys. Now, even before we beat the Seahawks, I chalked up the Dallas Cowboys as a win. Even after we beat the Seahawks, I want to say that's going to be an absolute W, but there are no absolutes in the NFL. But I think we get a win at the very least against the Cowboys at the end of the season. That puts us up at 6-10. to really secure this division, it's going to look like somebody's going to have to get to 7-9, and that means a win against either Cardinals, Browns, or Ravens. And like I said, all these games are winnable now, especially considering what the Giants did to the Seahawks. Defensively, they dominated that game. It wasn't even, if you looked at that game from front, from the very first snap to the very last snap, defensively, the Giants dominated the Seattle Seahawks. Offense got going a little bit in terms of the running game, in the second half. And these games right here, really going to heavily depend on if we have Daniel Jones back. Now, it's looking like he might come back against the Cardinals. So if we say he does come back against the Cardinals, I really think we have a chance to beat them. I mean, this is Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Right now, I think they're 6-6. They've been very inconsistent, thus far in the season. At certain points, Kyler Murray and that squad looked like one of the best in the NFL, and Kyler Murray was in MVP conversations. And at other points, especially in recent weeks, they've been not so good of a football team. And I think the Seahawks are a better football team than the Cardinals right now at this point in the season. And obviously, Russell Wilson's a better quarterback than Kyler Murray, veteran experience and all. So I would think that the Giants, if they could manage to confuse Wilson and that high-flying offense and shut that down, why can't they do that against the Cardinals, who have been struggling a little bit more than the Seahawks have been in recent weeks? So I would say we do get a win here. And even if we don't get a win there, remember, once again, I really think we only need to get to 7 wins to clinch this division. But I think we could win against the Cardinals. The Browns, I'm not so sure. Right now, they're on a really hot streak. And then the Ravens, that's a game that's difficult to call just because you don't know what their COVID and reserve situation is going to be by the time it comes up there. But I say we get 7 wins with the Cardinals and the Cowboys, and that should put us at the top of the NFC East. You go over and you look at Washington's schedule. They have up next the 49ers, then the Seahawks, then the Panthers, then the Eagles. Now, they do have a little bit of an easier of a schedule here. I think that the Eagles, just like for us, the Cowboys were a guaranteed win. I think this is going to be a guaranteed win for Washington. Both of those teams right now are just not in good positions. They are just really, really bad football teams. Nothing's working out for them. Coaching, skill position-wise, quarterbacking-wise, is just not going well. So that's a win right there that puts them at 6 wins for Washington. And just like us, they would need 7 to clinch the division if it wasn't the case that we held a tiebreaker over them. So in this case right here, where I'm saying that the Giants get to 7 wins, for Washington to win this division, they're going to need to get to 8-8. Which would be a tremendous turnaround. They also started off 1-7, and to finish your season 8-8, that would be something historic, I would think. And all props to them if they managed to do it. But I just don't see it happening. I can see them getting to 7 though, and with that happening, the Giants literally squeeze in by the skin of their teeth to get into the playoffs. But it's getting into the playoffs. I do see them winning against the Eagles, and the only other win I could see here would be the 49ers, which 49ers are not a good team right now. Just like the Cardinals, both NFC West teams, they're just not performing right now. And even if somehow the 49ers beat them, they do have a winnable game against the Panthers. Now, the Panthers I'm not going to chalk up as a win, like a given, because I think they are a better team than a lot of people give them credit for this year. They also got a first-year head coach over there, much like these teams. Oh, well, no. They have a first-year head coach, much like the Giants do. A new head coach, much like the Giants and Washington do with Matt Rule. So the Panthers, that might be a challenge for them. Seahawks, some of y'all might be saying to me, especially if you're a Washington fan, well, if the Giants beat the Seahawks, why can't we beat them? We just beat Pittsburgh. I think the Seahawks are going to be on notice. I think they're going to be a lot more prepared going up against NFC East teams going in here. I think they might, even be looking for a little bit of a revenge game through Washington on the NFC East. Who knows? But I do see them win against the Eagles, and the most winnable game outside of that would be the 49ers, which puts them at 7. The scary thing is, there's a realistic chance that Washington could get to 8 wins. I can't see it happening, though. I really can't see it happening. I think that Panthers and Seahawks would really beat them, and the Giants would have to squeeze in by the skin of their teeth. At the end of the day here, the point that I'm trying to make, and now I will get in as a Giants fan, is that destiny is in our own hands. If the Giants want to make the playoffs, the destiny is in their own hands. They are in the driver's seat. They don't have to rely on anybody else like they did in 2016, where they had to rely on certain teams to win so we would squeeze in through the wild card. They have to go out here and they have to win their own games. They have to take care of their business, and they have the talent, the coaching, and the potential to do that. Let's see if they do it. I'm going to start to believe in this team, and let's see where it takes us, man. Put your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. That's it for now. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll catch y'all in the next one.